English lesson with Mom Tin Kenya. Welcome, grade 10 students. Materials needed for class: self learning module, paper and pen, and motivation to learn. Lesson objectives: Letter A: identify information portrayed in graphics and nonlinear texts. Letter B: convert nonlinear information to textual information and vice versa. Performance standard: the learner provides an explanation on the information presented in a nonlinear text. For our lesson for the week, we have textual aids in understanding texts. This lesson focuses on various textual aids that may be used in understanding texts. These highlights the importance and use of textual aids in making information presentation more understandable for readers. Some of these textual aids include graphic organizers, titles, and nonlinear illustrations, among others. You are expected to identify information portrayed in graphics and other nonlinear texts and convert nonlinear information to textual information and vice versa. Now, let's find out what is a textual aid. They are visual aids that help readers to better understand the text they are reading. It helps readers enhance their learning as they read through the material. Now, what are the examples of textual aids? We have concept map, graphic organizer, flow diagram, Venn diagram, cause and effect diagram, table of contents, spider map, infographics, maps, timeline, pictograph, pie graph, illustrations, line graph, chart, sidebars, and bar graph. The most common among these textual aids are concept app, graphic organizer, flow diagram, cause and effect diagram, and Venn diagram. Concept map is a visual organization and representation of knowledge. It shows concepts and ideas and the relationships among them. You create a concept map by writing keywords, sometimes enclosed in shapes such as circles, boxes, triangles, and others, and then drawing arrows between the ideas that are related. The next one is graphic organizer. So it's a visual and graphic display that depicts the relationships between facts, terms, and or ideas within a learning task. The next one is flow diagram. It is a collective term for a diagram representing a flow or set of dynamic relationships in a system. Example: process, system chart, data flow. So we use flow diagram for those kinds of concept. The fourth one is cause and effect diagram. These examines why something happened or might happen by organizing potential causes into smaller categories. It can also be useful for showing relationships between contributing factors. This is also known as fishbone diagram or Ishigawa diagram. The fifth common textual aid is Venn diagram. A Venn diagram is a visual representation of the similarities and differences between concepts. How about linear and nonlinear texts? What is the difference between the two? Linear and nonlinear texts differ in the reading path. A linear text is a traditional text that needs to be read from beginning to end to make sense of the text, while nonlinear text is not required to be read from beginning to end since its reading path is non-sequential. Examples of linear texts are short stories, novels, letters, and educational texts. While for nonlinear text, the examples are visual aids such as graphic organizers, concept maps, diagrams, and charts. Transcoding linear to nonlinear text and vice versa. This is a skill that one has to be familiar with since it can be used in our everyday lives. There will be times when you would have to transcode a linear text to nonlinear text to make it easier for other people to understand it, and a nonlinear text to linear text to have a detailed description of a certain topic. Now, how do we transcode linear to nonlinear text and vice versa? You simply follow these simple steps. Step 1, read the text and get the main idea. Step 2, extract necessary information for the visual representation. Step 3, remember to use keywords or phrases only. The fourth step is to classify information into categories. And step 5, make sure to use the correct non-linear text to present the information. So let's now have a class recap. What is textual aid? Textual aids are used to make information presentation more comprehensive and understandable for readers. There are several kinds of textual aids like Venn diagram, fishbone diagram, flowchart, concept map, and others. Linear text and nonlinear text. Linear text is a traditional text that needs to be read from beginning to end to make sense of the text. Examples are stories, novels, letters, and educational texts, while nonlinear text is not required to be read from beginning to end since its reading path is non-sequential. Examples of nonlinear text are visual aids such as graphic organizers, concept maps, diagrams, and charts. Steps to transcode a linear text to nonlinear text. Number 1, read the text and get the main idea. Number 2, extract necessary information for the visual representation. Number 3, remember to use keywords or phrases only. Number 4, classify information into categories. And number 5, make sure to use the correct nonlinear text to present the information. It's activity time. You may now proceed to the learning tasks given in your module on pages 10 to 13. Remember, read and follow the given instructions carefully. Happy learning! Again, I am Mom Tin Sekenya. Have a good day.